Today we'll be going over exercise 7.12, Price is Right. The problem reads, write a method price is right that accepts an array of integers, bids, and an integer price as parameters. The method returns the element in the bids array that is closest in value to price without being larger than price. For example, if bids stores the elements 200, 300, 250, 999, and 40, then price is right with parameters bids and 280 should return 250, since 250 is the bid closest to 280 without going over 280. If all bids are larger than price, then your method should return -1. The following table shows some calls to your method and their expected results. So, as you can see, with A1, which reads 900, 885, 989, and 1, and with our value set to 800, it's going to return 1. Why is that? Well, we're looking for the bid that is closest to our value here, 800, without going over it. So you'll notice 900, 885, and 989, all three of them are over our 800, which leaves 1 as our closest bid. So we're going to be returning 1 in that case. With A2, 200, we have our value 120, and because 200 is over 120, all of our bids are larger than price, so in that case we're going to be returning -1. In our final example, 500, 300, 241, 999, and 501, and with a price of 50, again we're going to be returning -1, and that's for the same reason as the previous example, in that all of our bids are greater than our price of 50. So we're checking for two things here. First thing, we're checking which of our bids are not greater than our price, and then we're also going to be checking which of our bids is closest to our price. So let's go ahead and create our method header, public static, and our return type is going to be an integer because we're going to be returning the bid that is closest to our price, or -1. So int, and let's go ahead and name it price is right. And we have two parameters here. You'll notice we get our parameter bids, which is going to be an integer array, and an integer that's going to represent price. So we're going to go ahead and write those in. So we have our bids and we have our price. So how I would approach this problem is by setting a value, and that value is going to be what we're going to return at the very end. So we're going to be setting that as -1 for now, and later on we can change that to whichever bid we find that meets all of our conditions. But in the case that none of those conditions are met, we can just go ahead, not change value from -1, and go ahead and return value. We're also going to be creating another integer called min, and that's going to represent a minimum value. And this is basically to find the bid that is closest to our price, with min representing basically the difference between our price and our bid. So we're going to be setting that as an arbitrarily large number for now. Now we're just going to be looping through our array of bids and checking them with price. So of course we want to start from the beginning, so I equals 0, And we're going all the way to the end of the array, so we're going to go all the way to length. There we go. Now, what's the first thing we want to check? We want to make sure that our bid is less than or equal to our price. So we're going to be checking if the bid we're looking at is less than or equal to our price. What else do we want to check? We also want to check to make sure that this is the closest bid to the price that we've seen so far. So again, I mentioned that min is going to represent our difference between our price and bid. So if price minus the bid, right? So that difference is less than or equal to min. So what this does is it's going to find the bid that has the smallest difference with the price. And if both of those conditions are met, so if the bid is lower than or equal to our price and it is the closest in difference to our price, then we're actually going to change our value to that bid that we were just looking at. And we're also going to go ahead and change our min to the new difference, That way, as we're progressing through the array, it's only going to find the bid that's the absolute closest to our price. And at the very end, we're just going to go ahead and return that value that we set. And if we go ahead and submit that, we will see that we passed all of our tests.